You're welcome. What's going on? Hi. 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 I can't have my Christmas tree on when I film. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. And if you've never been here before, oh boy. We're just undoing everything we just did. Today, we're taking a look at the in-depth world of cancel culture, kinda, with the appearance by Perez Hilton and Gabbie Hanna on some strange knockoff of Red Table Talks with Gloria Estefan, her daughter, and I don't know who the other one is. I should probably look her up. She's Gloria Estefan's aunt. Okay, so I figured it out. We got there. So yeah, this, it was a time for sure. There's a whole lot going down in this episode that we waited, well, actually I didn't wait, I completely forgot about it, but that we knew was filmed and coming out at some point. Oh, a Facebook message. It went about as good as you could imagine. But we're gonna sit down and watch it together and break it apart piece by piece, kinda. I'm gonna kinda move it along for brevity's sake and so I don't scream. But we're gonna get to all of it because I wanna talk not only about, I know y'all expect me to talk about Gabbie on here, but I also wanna talk about some of the things that Perez Hilton had to say. And some of the things the Estefan ladies have to say. I dyed my hair, did you notice? I do want to say that this was clearly filmed a while back, not super long ago, but before Gabbie came back to social media at the very least. So, I mean, if you think about it, this episode has been advertised. It was advertised a couple months ago, so it was at least like early fall into summer, so just trying to remember that for myself, for my own criticisms. Let's go.
Has cancel culture gone too far?
In the minds of the overwhelming majority, I am irredeemable.
You sound like such a hypocrite.
A lot of people could say the same thing about you.
No, that's just up.
I love the editing there. They really painted a picture of a very, very confrontational episode of Red Table Talks that we're absolutely only going to get about like an 18th of, so buckle up.
Are we ready, ladies?
I don't know.
We answered the same thing.
Wow, way to point it out. You sure did.
In 2021, the concept of cancel culture is everywhere. From our politics to pop culture. Some view cancel culture as a modern form of social justice. Others feel that cancel culture is a dangerous trend led by online mobs who will stop at nothing to silence anyone or anything they disapprove of.
Well, okay. We're gonna break down the concept of cancel culture as a whole today. I don't really like this angle. Is that better? It's probably worse, whatever. We're gonna break down excuse you. We're gonna break down some of the elements of cancel culture, what that means, where it's heading, what it actually could be, and what the misconceptions about cancel culture are in that they're getting conflated with other things.
I think it's dangerous. I feel like accountability, personally for me, and cancel culture are two separate things.
That's the thing. They are two separate things. Holding someone accountable and what people like to call cancel culture are being conflated. First of all, cancel culture in and of itself does not exist. No one, and this is proven time and time again, that no one is ever truly fucking canceled, right? You know, later in this episode, they reference Bill Cosby, who is literally a convicted out on a technicality about to fucking do a tour and a documentary. I'm sorry, where does cancel culture exist?
The rise of gossip bloggers like Perez Hilton in the early 2000s paved the way for today's online mobs.
That's true. For everything that like Perez is gonna say about cancel culture, for all the negatives that he's gonna say about cancel culture, he was like the spearhead of cancel culture as we know it today, as far as the internet is concerned.
As the man behind Hollywood's most hated website, Perez made a name for himself by urging his followers to cancel scandal-plagued stars like Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan.
Okay, but like he also really made like his money, gained notoriety, found his career footing by also making fun of people in really nasty ways. You know what I mean? Like he was really sort of relentless in just the absolute mockery of people with issues, you know, which again, very of the time, you know, that was a time when, you know, it wasn't stop and think about somebody's perhaps mental illness. It was like, that person's acting erratic, let's make fun of them, right? So he helped kind of set that precedent in a public way. You know, it wasn't just like, cancel them, they've done bad.
In 2010, he had a change of heart and vowed to stop attacking and insulting celebrities on his blog.
And it only took him 10 years to get there.
Welcome, Perez. I'm sure a lot of people are going to know you that are watching this show.
And a lot of people are probably going to be angry at you.
Me?
Yeah, for
giving
me a platform.
There's nothing that irritates me more than like aggressive air quotes. Like James Charles is like the biggest, he's the oh my god, I can't stand it because his are like 7 like Slender Man hands doing air quotes. Oh, it drives me insane. Anyway, sorry.
And that very well may be true, but changing this dialogue and moving forward, the importance of having you here.
I have to say, okay, I really like almost everything that Emily here has to say. I'm also bewildered how she looks so much like her mother. But I am obsessed with figuring out what's going on with her earrings. Like the one earring is real long with a pearl on the end, and I was like, I thought maybe she just lost the pearl on the other, but she didn't. Like it's up, it's like up here, and I don't, the asymmetry of it is just, I hate it.
For you to speak of, you've contributed to this world, and now how are you going to contribute to changing it? What do you consider yourself when it comes to the industry?
I consider myself an entertainer.
We consider you a gossip blogger. How are you an entertainer? What are you doing that's, I mean, what?
I wouldn't say I'm a journalist.
I wouldn't say you're a journalist either.
But for example, like there were human beings on the other side of your stories, and we have to call a spade
Yeah.
here. You said some pretty hurtful things.
Did you feel powerful when you did those things?
That word power to me, it never resonated.
I hate when people answer questions like this. Can you at least lead? And maybe this is just me just being picky as a person, but like when someone asks you a question, and maybe he did, maybe this is just the editing, but this like, did you feel powerful when you were doing these things? And then to be like, well, let's break down what the word powerful means, because that doesn't really resonate with how I felt about this and that. Like, can you lead with, no, I didn't feel powerful, but what I felt was more along the lines of this. Like, what does we have to? I don't know. It just feels like it feels like deflection, even though he's answering the question. That's just 100% nitpickiness on my part. I'll accept that.
Because that would imply that I can force people to do things and I can force people to think a certain way. I could have influence, but I'd like to view it more like opportunity.
I'd like to view it more like opportunity. I'd like to view it. Because if I view it this way, then I am exonerated from bad behavior because I didn't view it that way. I viewed it a different way. That's what I'm hearing.
I have the opportunity to share, and people have the opportunity to receive.
That sounds really good for like a yoga mantra or like morning positive affirmations. Not for drawing jizz on people's faces who have made mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Lily, automatically my favorite. Seriously? Like, that's what you're fucking going with? Really? Really, Perez? And I know Perez Hilton will see this because he searches his fucking name on Twitter. Hi, Perez. What's going on? Your hair looks great. Sweet frosted tips.
I viewed what I did as shining the light. I'm shining the light on celebrities that get it right and those that get it wrong.
Shining the light on the dicks I'm gonna draw on Lindsay Lohan's face because she got another DUI. just shining a light. Wow. 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 Everything's up for interpretation, huh?
I was a drug addict, and attention was my drug.
Attention was my drug. Like, I'm sorry, all of these are excuses. Like, there is not a moment, and Gabbie Hanna is gonna point it out when she comes out, there's not a moment where Perez Hilton is like, yeah, I was wrong. That was wrong of me.
I knew what I was doing was bad, and I kept doing it, and I kept being rewarded for it.
I couldn't help doing bad things. I was caught up in being rewarded for being a jackass. Of course.
And by the way, I think that's one of the big issues with social media, because we all crave attention and we all crave acceptance. Right now, acceptance is likes. Perez was getting plenty of those likes on TikTok until late 2020 when he was banned from the site.
I feel like my world is crumbling.
Honey, listen. I remember watching this, like, tearful video when Perez got banned from TikTok. And I remember laughing about it then, because here's the thing. If I got banned from... No, I don't. Maybe if my private Instagram got banned, I would be sad because I would lose a lot of, like, personal memories. I wouldn't cry about TikTok. Like, literally, why are you crying? I understand, like, maybe part of your livelihood relies in, like, the monetized content you might put on TikTok, but like at this point, Perez is likely very financially secure. I never understood why the fuck he sat there and cried about being banned from TikTok.
What did you do?
On the app, you know, they have this thing called the For You page where random videos pop up on your feed. I saw this video because she was and still is the most followed person on TikTok, Charli D'Amelio.
Charli D'Amelio.
She was just 15 years old. I saw this video of her on the beach in a bikini dancing what I thought was sexually to a song with very explicitly sexual lyrics about having sex.
I want to say, and I feel like I've talked about this before, I was never, like, okay with this. Because here is the thing, and we're gonna get to another Perez doesn't understand how females work in a little bit. She's 15, right? So his issue with Charli D'Amelio dancing on TikTok in a bikini was like, oh my God, someone's gonna come along and sexualize her. So sexualized, so sexually charged. The song was about sex, sexual. Honey, you're the one that... You are the one who made this an issue. You are the one who looked at a video of a 15-year-old girl dancing in a bikini and saying, this is sexual. That was the issue there, okay? I get, if I sit with it for a second, I get where Perez is coming from. He was trying to perhaps head something off at the pass, but like, you're a verified account, right? Well, he was a verified account. As a verified account, why would you not reach out to that person in a DM and say, hey, this, or like the D'Amelio parents are all over the internet. They're obsessed with their own getting attention themselves. Reach out to the parents, send them a DM. Hey, listen, this is just concerning me. I know I'm sure you're on it, blah, 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 blah. Just want to be clear, like, this looks overtly sexual to me. I'm uncomfortable, which is still weird. You're a grown man. Like, don't, like, even if you're not being sexual about it, because I understand he's a gay man, leave girls alone. Fuck off. Fuck off. Because how much more attention, I mean, I know Charli D'Amelio is like the most followed person on TikTok, but like, how much more attention did that bring to the situation? How much more attention did that bring to people outside of fucking TikTok? To then go and like sexualize a 15-year-old girl. Use it.
Did you do it for the views?
No.
Because she was like the number one.
Calling her blank, or
TikToker.
asking that question?
No, just getting in the fray.
Because no, it was a specific question that I had.
I have a question. I have a question. Why can't you mind your own fucking business?
And there was like a petition to get me banned, and I just was viewed as the enemy.
Well, I'm sorry, hun, but when you're bringing up the sexuality of a 15-year-old girl, you are the bad guy. Sorry. Before Perez commented on that TikTok, right? There was a 15-year-old girl dancing because it's not like it was something new. That's what Charlie did on TikTok, was dance. So now girls are not allowed to wear bikinis on TikTok and dance at this. They're not allowed to do all three at the same time.
I do think it's interesting, though. A lot of people, both old and young, think that having an opinion that might not be positive is bullying.
But that's not what this is, by the way. It's not about it being an unpopular opinion. It's about you putting more eyes on something that was not overtly sexual, making it overtly sexual, and then putting potentially predatory eyes on it. That was the issue. It wasn't that you had some controversial fucking opinion. It was that you put this girl in more danger by making a public spectacle of what you think this girl looks like while she dances on her TikTok. Okay?
Were you bullied in school?
I was for being fat. I wasn't aware of it at the time, but the whole birth of Perez and so much of what I did and still do was a reaction to my childhood trauma.
Of course it was. Listen, everything we do in life is a reaction to our childhood trauma, Mario. Let's not pretend like we all start fucking blogs that mock people mercilessly, okay? And I know I've had my fair share of petty bitch moments, and I'm probably gonna have some in the second half of this video, but like, listen, a commentary on human behavior is very different from let's embarrass some fucking celebrities while they're vulnerable.
I was kind of wielding a sword, and I just wanted to wield the sword because life had been so unkind and unfair to me.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Okay, so you were wielding a sword. I thought you were shining a light on celebrities who do it right, but also celebrities who are doing it wrong. So is it a light or is it a sword? Or is it like the reflecting light off the sword? Like, I'm just trying to get a clear picture of why you won't just admit that you were an asshole for a really long time to like a lot of people and like you've grown and changed. You know what I mean? Just kind of seems like the honest way is kind of the better way, but you know, what do I know?
At the height of his blog's popularity, Perez was infamous for outing.
Why does he look like Donald Trump Jr. there? The fuck?
Closeted gay celebrities. Did you feel maybe because you were openly gay that was your like permission to out people that were gay that didn't come out?
No, that's just up. I never understood how you as a gay man could put anybody in that situation.
Were you
like,
outed?
I don't understand that.
I was outed by a family member.
Okay.
But
to the family.
Yeah.
Not to the
I
world.
was outed to my family too, and I can tell you, if somebody did that to the public, if you had done that to me, oh girl.
I agree. Like, gross. And that was something that I feel like at the time, like I was a very big reader of PerezHilton.com. I'm not gonna lie to you. I loved PerezHilton.com. I would be a hypocrite to tell you that I was not. I fucking loved it because it's where you went for celebrity gossip. Like, it was like the biggest site for celebrity gossip. And the reality is that I probably then would not have really thought about it. Like, outing, I never really thought about him outing Clay Aiken or Neil Patrick Harris or Lance Bass or whatever. Like, I never thought about it until like I became more familiar with the experience of being part of, you know, the LGBT community, the queer experience, whatever you want to call it. Although the queer experience sounds like a fun escape room. But yeah, he did that a lot, evidently. Wow. Because I didn't even remember. So I can only imagine that I just either wasn't reading news about them or I didn't think about it. Either way, bad form.
To answer your question,
Yes, please.
I knew what I was doing was wrong. I would tell myself all these mantras, all these talking points to, being that drug addict. Well, I'm gonna do this because of that. I would say things like, well, I'm just sharing with my friends online what my friends in private talk about. So why should I treat...
I love how like all three of these women are like, honey, what? You're fucking kidding, right?
my public friends any differently than my private friends.
They're not your friends. They're the audience of these people.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was like, that was the most like,
Well, you caught me. I'm a dick.
like, just admit it. I don't understand. Here's what I don't get. Like, it's really, really, really hard to admit, like, any of us when we're wrong, right? I know I've done my fair share of things in my life that have been absolutely garbage. I have been a bad person at several points in my life. But to go like to just actually come to a conversation about cancel culture and then just like try to like pare down or like justify or qualify the things you did without first like I can understand like trying to get people in your mindset like why you would do something like that, but like also admit that you're a shithead for it. Like I don't know, because I yes, you can say like I knew what I was doing was wrong, but it's not, there's no like remorse there, there's no like actual like it just feels so hollow.
Last week we had Lauren Jauregui at this very table to talk about the online abuse of women, and your name came up, the photo that you tweeted, because it was almost forcing her to come out.
I wasn't ready. I didn't know, because I'm also Latina.
Yes.
So there was that looming thing of like...
You were outed to the public.
Yeah. I felt really violated.
Yeah.
I don't view myself as outing her.
That doesn't fucking matter because you did. Impact over intent, right? So you may not have thought, oh, I'm outing this girl, but you did. So your impact is what's important, not what your intention was. Your intention goes out the window when the impact becomes greater and more detrimental than the intent. You got it? Okay, let's keep going so I can get more angry.
That picture that was in the photo booth, she never intended for that to get out.
For especially young women, sexuality is so fluid.
Fuck, and I cannot stress this enough, you. No, Perez, no.
What
Girl.
is wrong with you?
I also love to know what's wrong with Perez. Why the fuck would you use that as a justification for putting out a photo of a young woman kissing another woman who is not out? Why? Because it's easy to go, well, girls kiss in the club all the time. So fucking what? Who cares? To have that level of insensitivity towards another gay person as a gay person, what?
I'm so serious.
You can't say for a woman and a male, oh, well, gay man, it's different. Like, women have sex with women, like, no matter, like, that's different.
There's a lot of women who will make out with women and don't identify
that's so hurtful.
And that's not your job to put that everywhere. Let's say she wasn't gay, right? Let's say she was just drunk at a wedding and kissing another girl. What if that has like a huge impact on the people she knows in her life? What if she is surrounded by largely homophobic people? What if she is so afraid? What if she's so closeted and so afraid to come out because of the backlash? I mean, I can't fathom being this like hard-headed and ridiculous, especially after hearing the person you did this to say, this deeply affected me.
Men and a lot of people in society will look at two women together and they don't legitimize our relationship because they're like, oh, girls make out with girls. It's just a college phase. Oh, yeah, girls together are hot. Like, which is what you're doing right now.
Exactly.
I think sexuality is very, for a lot of women,
but you're a man. You're not a
fluid.
woman. You can't speak to a woman's experience. That's not fair.
Thank you. I think she just said everything I needed to say.
When I shared those photos, I didn't say anything negative.
It doesn't fucking matter! You shared private photos of her kissing someone of the same sex. What is hard about that? You cannot justify or qualify something you were wrong about. You cannot do it. It doesn't work like that. Yes, there should be nuance to things. Yes, I can understand that maybe you thought, well, girls kiss all the time. Why is it problematic? When you were putting it out. But you know what? Now that it's out, now that she's out because of you, and now that everyone is sitting here telling you why this is a problem, now is the time to shut the fuck up and say, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. Easy fucking peasy. Stop trying to make others' experiences your problem. And stop trying to justify why you're trying to make them your problem.
Right.
I just shared the photos that were already trending. It's not like, ooh,
You
I
just
got this
hopped on the train and took advantage so that you would get more views and followers.
Kind of goes back to just like the nature of what I do, or a show like El Gordo y la Flaca.
What do we do? Okay, tell me.
But as an entity, as a show, if we get a picture from Lauren, we would have done exactly the
But
same.
that's up. That's my point. It was private. It was taken
How
from
do
her
we know
private.
that picture was
because
private?
it was known that it was a private family photo.
Did you know that?
No, it was at a wedding.
How do we
It
know?
was at a,
If
it was at a,
if
it was
it's social media.
Okay, but how did you get the photo? Right? If you got the photo somewhere, then you know that it was either private or it wasn't, right?
You're
something
talking about
else.
censorship, or what are you
I'm
saying?
not talking about censorship. I'm talking about we have somebody right here who has
Right.
done damaging things to a lot of people and has been on the other end of receiving hate.
I've accepted that in the minds of the overwhelming majority, I am irredeemable.
Well, here's the thing. We weren't talking about that, but okay. Since you brought it up, maybe it's because every single time someone is like, hey, this is why that thing you did was hurtful, you find a way to justify it and qualify it. So maybe that's it. But again, we weren't talking about that, so.
Okay.
There is nothing I could ever do, change, grow, evolve, mature, to make things right with my past.
I'm gonna say this about this, and then I'm gonna skip to Gabbie Hanna's part, because this is pretty much the end of his segment anyway. Here's the thing. I am all for accountability culture over cancel culture, right? I think it's very, 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 very imperative that we move to a place from outrage to active growth and change, right? That's what we want from people when they mess up, is we want them to acknowledge what they've done, to apologize, to make right, to grow, to change, and we can all move on, right? In the grand scheme of things, that's kind of the idea, right? I feel like Perez is a very specific case of why that is not always going to go over real smooth, because Perez Hilton built his entire career, built his entire website, and what I can only assume is his entire empire. I don't know if you would call it that. I don't know how wealthy Perez Hilton is. Let's look. Yeah, okay. He has a net worth of 20 million according to the internet. So I don't, at least even at half of that, he's still doing fine. So Perez built this entire career around making fun of other people, around, yes, celebrity news, celebrity gossip, but what he was most known for, and why it was called, the internet's most hated website, or whatever the fuck the tagline used to be, the reason it was that is because he was really vicious towards a lot of people at their most vulnerable moments. Like, every single time Lindsay Lohan got a DUI, there was a photo of her with fucking jizz on her face. Like, that was his thing. Using MS Paint to put fucking jizz on people's faces who were fucking up. So I think that the duration of time Perez spent being an asshole is, unfortunately, a really, really hard thing to redeem. And I'm not saying it's impossible to completely redeem yourself or your character or your persona on the internet, or even just in life. Like, I'm not saying that he could never have turned it all around, but unfortunately, when you build a career on being the arbiter of good and bad and mockery and just taking the piss out of people at any cost, at any expense, it's gonna take a lot longer. And I would say it's 2 to 3 times longer than anybody else who's made just like a cancelable offense. So I do think he's right in saying that in a lot of people's eyes, he is irredeemable. But I don't think that makes him unlike other people who have been canceled. Your forgiveness rate is relative to your crime, right? And if you spent, you know, God, years and years, you know, tearing other people down and creating a stomping ground for negativity and mockery, then yeah, it's gonna take a long time for people to forget who that first iteration of Perez Hilton was. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, sorry, I feel like I've rambled so long about Perez Hilton, but I feel like everybody's videos on this are gonna be strictly about Gabbie Hanna, which makes perfect sense considering this is the internet. But there were a lot of things I wanted to say about Perez as well, because a lot of what Perez said pissed me off.
YouTube star Gabbie Hanna skyrocketed to fame in 2013 and has consistently made headlines for online feuds with other social media influencers. Fans of her rivals have even started a petition similar to the one that led to Perez Hilton's TikTok ban.
But so many problems with this. Okay, please, if you didn't watch my last video, not the Vlogmas, but my last like produced video, I did a video about Gabbie Hanna and like how since coming out of like kind of being surrounded by a bunch of people who really just didn't care for Gabbie, I was able to sort of look at things through kind of a different lens, which a lot of people took as me just like absolving Gabbie of everything she's ever done and like blowing off all my criticism. No, I stand by all my criticisms of Gabbie Hanna. I don't think there's one that I like would say I don't stand by. I stand by all of them as far as I can remember. There's only one video in my catalog that I can ever say was like kind of almost a reach in terms of like making content about her. I just meant that I could like look at things with a little bit more, with a little bit less of a bias than I have in the past. But the wording, I don't know.
Fans of her rivals have even started a petition similar to the one that led to Perez Hilton's TikTok ban.
Fans of her rivals created a petition to have her YouTube channel taken down. Yeah. When these petitions went around, and first of all, I'm not a fan of deplatforming in general. My opinions on that have sort of flip-flopped over the past year or so. I used to be like, yeah, they're harmful, deplatform them. Obviously, if they are like I feel like James Charles could have his social media at the very least taken away. But like predators and actual dangerous people, like overtly dangerous, like put the ADT activate kind of thing. But here's the thing. A lot of these petitions and like the ones that got the most signatures, I do believe, came out around the time this situation this past year where between Gabbie and Jessie Smiles, where that really came to a head. That's not like a fans of her rivals thing. That's more like people who kind of saw the way Gabbie was treating people and how gross that was, kind of thing. Like I don't think I need to remind y'all like what she said, you know, to and about Rachel Oates, Oscar Wilde, fucking like, you know, you name it. She went off on them. Dom DeAngelis, of course, Jessie Smiles, you know. This feels like that BuzzFeed article, this one, where just the information is so one-sided and so skewed. And we're not even into the segment yet, and I've already got a lot to say.
Gabbie, who's also building her music career, says this has devastated her both personally and professionally.
But like, it also doesn't bother her, and she doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I love that they used this video, because this video was about her creating her song Special, I believe. I think it was Special.
Welcome, Gabbie. This table's on fire, woman.
It's on something.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Hey, Gabbie.
He's absolutely just aching back there.
Love this outfit. We match colors, good for us. I hate the hat. I hate like there are things in life that like irritate the shit out of me. Hats like that to me looks like a costume. Like that is, I am a stoner in a film. I am the best friend of the main character. I wear my hat like this. I like, really, you couldn't have put on something nice? Like, I'm all for self-expression, and I'm not like, in no way do I mean like you have to look feminine or like put on a dress, but like you couldn't have like put on like regular fucking clothes.
I cannot tell you how honored I am to be here with everyone at this table.
Well, thank you.
I am obsessed with you so much, everything that you're saying.
At least someone is. No.
So I feel like you're speaking out of my journal. Like,
I know. I would make the same fucking face, like, oh shit, because you know Emily knows who she is, right? Is her name Emily, by the way? Literally, I think Gabbie just terrified her.
everything that you've been saying about the picture, because you are absolutely correct.
If anyone is gonna tell us what's absolutely correct, it's the straight woman.
It's the equivalent of if somebody starts a rumor in high school and it's kind of gossip among the mean girls, and then somebody takes the overhead and announces it to the entire high school, and then the principal sends a newsletter to the entire community. That's the difference between what they did and what you did. So, validation for you.
Right.
Thank goodness this straight lady is here to validate the gay experience for her.
You had the Gabbie show. Would you have posted that picture?
Absolutely not. My content doesn't revolve around other people.
That's right, it doesn't.
Like, look at my top videos. Like, I'm
Yes, look at her top videos. Let's do that right now. Let's look at her top videos, shall we? Okay. Okay, Gabbie. Oh, they're all music videos. That's right, because she deleted all of her content. That's super disingenuous. Gabbie built her career around talking about other people. That's what story times were. My psycho roommate, my psycho nutritionist, I dated a pathological liar, all the stories about Uber drivers, the fucking like companies that Gabbie put on blast because they didn't have, you know, products in time for her or whatever. Like the gym that like she used as leverage for a story because they gave her shit trying to cancel it and used her credit card to fucking pay for someone else's membership or whatever. Like Gabbie built her fucking channel around talking about other people. It is so, again, same with Perez, it is so fucking disingenuous to not take any sort of responsibility for your part in anything. To say, I don't make content around other people. You used to. And I'm sorry, like this is gonna be a mean thing to say, but it seems like you sort of alienated pretty much all of your friends that were creators. So now you only make content with yourself.
making content about myself. I would never want to make my name on, I was going to say no offense, but yes, offense. I would never make my name on someone else's.
But you did. You literally did. You literally did. You know, you might have come up through Vine, but like you made your big money on YouTube talking about other people.
What do we do on a TV show?
I think that if it's something involving somebody's sexuality or anything involving anybody's personal life, I personally don't think that the media has to say anything about anyone.
So when you told the internet that Trisha Paytas had herpes, what was that then? And I'm not here to white knight for Trisha Paytas, so don't even get started. Put that shit back in your pocket, sit the fuck down, and let's finish this, okay?
If I ask Gabbie, like, who are you? Are you a musician, actress, entertainer?
I would identify as an artist, first and foremost, of a lot of different kinds. That's how I like to identify. That's what makes me feel good, and I like to spend most of my days creating. I started this when nobody knew what social media was.
Okay, that's not true. Like, even that's not true. Like, you started on Vine, definitely had Twitter, definitely had a Facebook, definitely had a Vine, definitely had fucking YouTube. Like, I was making YouTube videos when Gabbie was on Vine. I understand she's part of this like earlier subset of creators, but like you weren't like at the dawn of social media.
And I was 22 years old. I just came out of college, and I remember telling people I'm going to be a Viner, and people said that's not a thing, and I said it will be.
I can't put my finger on why, but that feels incredibly disingenuous. I don't like, at the time I remember Gabbie being like, I'm gonna write for SNL and like, didn't she have a whole thing with Jen Dent where she was like, I'm gonna write for SNL, and then Jen Dent said, no you won't. Like, I just feel like that feels like a fabricated story. I don't know. Maybe it isn't, and maybe I'm just reading too much into that one. I'll eat shit on that one if that's not true, but like that felt disingenuous.
So I kind of dove into it without really understanding what that meant. And that's also when I didn't work through anything in my life yet. And I had so many mental issues going on, and I had so much past trauma. I was trying to figure out who I was. I was 22 years old.
I feel like Gabbie is talking so fast because she wants to get ahead of anything that... It's like when you're nervous and you talk too much. And I just feel like that's exactly what she's doing.
There's so much of my life online and so much of my energy and my privacy that people now have access to that I wish I could eliminate. These children, I was in 10th or 11th grade when I got my first cell phone. We had limited text messages. These kids are on their phone all the time. And what happened in the pandemic is they have nothing to do but be on their phones.
Well, actually, a lot of them were like in school digitally. So I think it's kind of the same amount of time. I mean, I guess I get the gist of what she's saying, but like, I don't think we need to like discount all young people to being like fully addicted to social media.
I went to the internet because I had a really hard time socializing in real life. I had a hard time making friends. And then all of a sudden I'm on the internet and I have all of these followers who think I'm cool and now I'm the popular girl.
So I wake up this addiction that Perez talked about? Or?
Absolutely.
So basically Perez Hilton and Gabbie Hanna are kind of two sides of the same coin, where they are hungry for attention. They didn't socialize well at school, and they both became online bullies, but I don't think we're gonna touch on one of those.
But what upset me is when I was back there is I was really eager to hear what you had to say, and it feels like you can't take accountability at all.
So many jokes, brain is breaking down. Pot, kettle, woo! Holy shit. Holy shit. Gabbie Hanna just like walked out here and let let Gloria Estefan fucking like narrate this whole sad sob story about Gabbie's experience online, leaving out all of the horrendous fucking shit that Gabbie did to other people. And then she's gonna sit there and look at Perez Hilton, which by the way, I agree, he hasn't taken accountability for anything, but she's gonna look Perez Hilton in the fucking face and go, I don't think you've taken accountability for anything. You sound like a hypocrite. Are you fucking fist fucking me right now? Really?
Sound like such a hypocrite. You're still doing the thing that you got canceled for, but you know you don't have to say anything about anyone. Like, you can just shut your mouth.
So can you. Now, granted, I understand Gabbie has kind of been quiet lately, so but in terms of at this point, like, okay, hold on. Brain's going too fast. Slow down, back it up. We gotta get the words out of the mouth. Let's try it again. Okay, here's my issue. I don't have an issue with what Gabbie just said, right? Especially considering now she's quiet, she's keeping to herself, she's doing her art. That's great, wonderful, all for it. However, and I also understand that this was filmed a while ago, okay? I'm taking all of that into account, okay? None of that is lost on me. However, the audacity to say to someone else, anyone else, I don't care who the fuck it is, I don't care if it's Perez Hilton, the fact that she has the audacity to say to somebody else, you know, you could just say nothing. You could just shut your mouth, right? When she had just spent an entire summer verbally berating multiple people publicly across all of her fucking platforms over and over again and again and again. And not to mention, like, that was just the most recent situation that is relevant to this. And yes, even though now she is quiet and that's good, and yay, I'm happy. I hope Gabbie is fine, you know, has found a wonderful headspace that she's in, and I hope she's excited about life and she's doing well, but she also has not taken accountability for anything. She started putting out this massive docuseries that was going to completely exonerate her from any wrongdoings she's ever been in, and all it did was continue to inflame people, cause more people to put out receipts and talk about the things that actually happened, and then she bailed on the entire series and then just like deleted all of her social media. Now, do I think bailing on the series and deleting her social media was bad? No, clearly that was good. Clearly it was necessary. However, coming back to the internet without, and I believe I touched on this a little bit in my last video, coming back to the internet without making any sort of amends for your behavior, with no apologies, even to your audience, even if she is not sorry about everything she said and did, even if she stands behind everything she said and did, and she feels justified in everything she said and did, even to not apologize to your audience, to say, listen, I'm really sorry that I dragged you along with this. I'm really sorry that I made this your problem too. You know, I still feel, I stand by everything I said, blah, blah, blah. You know, but I owe it to you, the people that pay my bills, you know, at least amends there. You know what I mean? And then to come here and to look at Perez Hilton and be like, you haven't taken accountability for anything. Well, ma'am, neither have you.
A lot of people could say the same thing about you. In fact, over the last few months, many people have come forward accusing you of very hurtful, toxic, cruel things. And people can do their own research.
I don't ever, and I'm gonna put my mom face on right now, okay? I don't ever want to have to agree with Perez Hilton ever again. You understand me? I don't want to have to do it again. This needs to stop.
And if they do, which you'll see, there's nothing there.
Well, that didn't work out, did it?
I never intentionally got into the drama community. The drama community got into me.
That's really kind of not true, because Gabbie herself admitted, in particular about last summer when she was putting up really concerning TikToks and just being overtly dramatic and confusing for a number of weeks, that she was doing it on purpose. And this was before this was filmed, for sure. So that's another lie. So there you go.
Everybody created a version of me that's just not real. And it felt like everyone in my actual real life, not the people who pretend to know me based on whatever interaction they've had. They say it feels like the people on the internet literally think you're the opposite of who you are.
Oh, you mean like Joey Graceffa? Jesse Smiles. What about like Alex James? So Daniel Prada? Yeah, you're right.
I've always been like an oversharer. So like if I'm sad, I like talk about it. Like I post about it. When I show them that I'm hurt, it hurts more when people pick it apart and like tell me that I'm like faking or that I shouldn't be feeling this way or whatever, or that I deserve it.
Okay, this is very valuable.
I hate this.
It's important that we show the ultimate thing that can happen.
Consequences.
No. This video was made while she was recording her song Special, which yes, is about pertinent topics. But like, we're not looking at a video of like a woman like... This is so skewed. And it's very frustrating because I feel like the point could have been good. I feel like if they had gotten Perez Hilton, Gabbie Hanna, maybe like a couple unproblematic folks, maybe a commentary YouTuber who runs like middle of the road. If this had been a bigger discussion with a more varied like panel, I feel like this would have been a more valuable conversation, because I don't think it's a bad conversation to have with people who have been controversial. I just think it's a bad conversation to have with only people who have been controversial.
Course of this, I've lost 2 record deals. I've lost friends, opportunities, money, numbers. Like, there wasn't a professional, personal, financial, any type of benefit that I've gotten from this, and I have not wanted it. That's why I think I've tried every single thing that I could do. And then the only thing that I felt like I had left was, okay, I guess I just have to tell my side.
Okay, and this is another petty fucking nitpick, I'm sorry. I really wish Gabbie would like do an interview without swearing. Because it's one thing when you do it on your channel, it's one thing when you do it on your social media, it's one thing when you do it like in life, but like no one else on this fucking panel has dropped an F-bomb. No one else has, I just dropped one. But this is my channel, okay? I'm not on a panel with Gloria Stefan. I don't, like, it to me just shows like a level of, oh God, and this feels like so like, elitist to say, but like it just shows a level of like immaturity in language that I feel like is really off-putting when you're trying to make a point about, you know, like a greater topic, I guess. I don't know, it just feels very immature to like sit here and be like, well, you can just shut your fucking mouth. Like, yeah, or you could talk like a grown-up, you know.
But then halfway through that, I stopped, because even that, I realized like, okay, this is not feeding my soul in the way that I wanted it to.
No, you stopped. Okay, maybe that's partially true. But like, honestly, at every turn, with every video that Gabbie put out, and I covered almost all of them last year. That wasn't even last year, that was this year. I covered almost all of them anyway. Every single one of them was met by the person or people, excuse me, the person or people that Gabbie was talking about, and brought receipts and facts and a rebuttal that Gabbie couldn't do anything but go, well, that's not true, or yell about, or, you know, like there was no closure. There was no feeling of closure for her series because there was so much left out that was filled in by the people that were being accused of doing her wrong. So, of course it wasn't feeding your soul. Again, a complete lack of accountability.
One thing we have not talked about, which I find sad and interesting, is cancel culture has become so accepted in so many circles, especially when you're talking about politics. On both sides.
But
if you disagree, if you don't think the way that other people think, you're instantly canceled.
Right.
Okay, again, this feels like a very weird argument to have with a gay man, because I don't think, first of all, I don't think that's cancel culture. I think that's the difference between right and wrong. That's making a distinction between someone's morals. I don't feel like Donald Trump is someone I can disagree with and still be like, yeah, but he's okay. Like, he's still like a stand-up guy. There's a difference between like, I guess that there's different levels of acceptability. You know, it's like that meme where it's like, oh, you know, can't we have different opinions and still be friends? It's like, yeah, but like your opinion can't be I'm racist. Let's say old Perez took that into account, right? Okay, that's what we're talking about. It's just people with differing opinions, not people who are like racist and not racist, or you know what I mean, homophobic and not homophobic, but people who, where it's not a difference in morals, it's just a difference in, I don't know, levels of acceptability or choices, ethical choices, or whatever. Let's talk about Bill Clinton being impeached. Let's talk about that whole situation. Let's talk about him having an affair with an intern, right? This goes like way back. It's before the internet cancel culture. This isn't a new thing, right? Because now Bill Clinton forever will be known for being a sleazebag, getting blown in the Oval Office by an intern, right? And who suffered the greatest repercussions of that? Bill Clinton? No. Hillary Clinton? No. Monica fucking Lewinsky did, right? So if you want to talk about cancel culture, in that respect, in terms of politics, that shit has always existed. And it has always existed in our society fucking anyway. It's just being handled differently and more widely and loudly because of the fucking internet.
That's important. And I'm really glad you said that, because there isn't enough love in disagreement. But like, you and I can disagree and we can have nothing but respect and love for each other. And that's a good thing.
Wow. Nuance in conversation and being able to hang out with people you disagree with. I don't think that's as far-fetched as of a concept as people think it is. Because I think in reality, everybody knows somebody who like fundamentally they disagree with and still put on airs for, right? People wouldn't have mothers-in-law if that wasn't already a thing.
So thank you for just like pointing that out.
We can all, and this is something I feel like we need to work on, is empathy.
Oh, yes. We want to try to...
What's especially scary is that, you know, we keep seeing now people in their 20s losing jobs over things they said when they were teenagers on social media over a decade ago.
Here's the thing. I don't inherently disagree with that point. I do think that there is a time and a place where you do sort of have to realize that the internet is forever, right? And, you know, everybody has something. Everybody has a skeleton in their closet, at least one, right? Everybody. You're lying to yourself if you say that you don't, because you probably forgot what that skeleton was. Everybody's got something. And if it's costing people their jobs, yeah, that seems like kind of a problem depending on what it is. And that's another instance where I think we have to look at patterns of behavior. Have we seen this repeat? Are we seeing this in other areas of that person's life? Are we seeing that show up in their work? Are we seeing that show up in their interpersonal relationships? Because if the answer is no, then maybe we need to reevaluate what we're looking at. But this is all, cancel culture in and of itself is about a cultural shift, right? It's not always going to be this cancel culture shit forever. Like, it's not always going to be like this. It's going to evolve so that it becomes a livable consequence, not a detrimental, life-ruining experience, right? So it's like having a rap sheet, you know what I mean? Yeah, okay, you got a warrant in Indiana, so you don't go to fucking Indiana for a while, you know what I mean? Is that the right analogy? I don't, like having, points on your driver's license, right?
And also try to detach ourselves a little bit from the conditioning that we have with social media, which is this is all we're worth now. For me, at least, like so much worth came from numbers, because when those numbers start slipping from 5 million views to 1 million, you're like, well, what am I doing wrong?
This is the last point I'm gonna make on this, because this is running way too long and I'm tired. When Gabbie says here, like, I think she's trying to say this in a relatable way, that like you can't keep when you're looking at the numbers and you're watching them fall, and how enmeshed that is with your self-worth and blah blah blah. I think that's more of a Gabbie thing. Because honestly, like when my numbers drop, it's not a self-worth thing for me. There's an acceptability there. You can't entangle all of your self-worth in numbers and public opinion and all of that. And to call that like the root of the problem or where your issues are is something for your therapist. Honestly, this whole conversation made me frustrated, but it really made me like Gloria Estefan even more. Really just felt incredibly frustrated by the just the hypocrisy of both of these people. The hypocrisy of both of them coming out and like, in no way are we seeing the worst of either one of them, right? We were never going to see the worst of either one of them. We didn't see the worst of Perez. We did not see the worst of Gabbie Hanna, but we definitely saw that they were on the receiving end of cancel culture. Like, did they even try to fabricate what Gabbie was being canceled for? There was no backstory about why she was canceled. At least with Perez, like it was kind of there. They talked about his you know, outing gay celebrities and stuff like that, but like they didn't even touch on why Gabbie was canceled. You know, I just feel like this was so incredibly skewed. I feel like it really could have been a good conversation. I feel like if they included other people in this conversation, if either one of these guests had been fully honest or just not defensive, I feel like it could have been a really good conversation. But yeah, this was a banger. And again, I do understand that this was a couple months ago. I do understand that like Gabbie has like shut up and she's doing her own thing. Fine, totally fine, whatever. All the rest of it is not up to me to seek out apologies for other people. It's not up to me to continue to judge her when she's being quiet, but I really did want to talk about this. And I wasn't going to. I had no plans to talk about this because I figured it would be so dated, but it's so frustrating that I had to. All right, I'm done here now. And hopefully that's all the Gabbie Hanna content I'll be making for a little while. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. If you didn't like this video, yeah, I get it. Whatever, that's fine. Subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it. Patreon, social media, podcasts, all linked in the description below. Come hang out. It's a dandy-ass time. Our last podcast was about Christmas and bath salts and murder and all that good stuff. So definitely come check that out. Everything is linked down below. I think that's all I got. Have a good one. Bye.